Jack Carter was tired of war. He had served as a Marine for many years, traveling to many worlds and fighting in many battles. But now, he just wanted a quiet life, far away from danger and noise. That was why he ended up walking alone on a dusty street in a strange alien trading post. The air was dry and full of odd smells. Alien traders moved around, shouting about their goods. Some of them looked like animals, some like plants, and a few looked almost human. Jack carried his last few credits in his pocket. He did not have a plan. He only wanted to find a place to rest, maybe some small job. That was when he saw the old repair garage at the end of the street. The sign above the door was in many languages, but the largest letters said, "Garage." The building looked broken, down and forgotten, paint peeled off the walls. There were strange stains on the metal door. A few broken machines stood outside, their wires hanging out. A strange alien stood beside the door. He was short, with green skin and big yellow eyes. He wore a dirty apron. When Jack walked closer, the alien watched him with a tired look. You selling this place?" Jack asked, trying to sound polite. The alien nodded. "Yes, you want to buy?" Jack was surprised. "I don't have much money," he said. "How much is it?" The alien shrugged. 2 credits. Jack blinked. 2 credits was almost nothing, barely enough to buy a meal in most places. He wondered if it was a joke. Why so cheap? The alien shrugged again. "Bad luck here. Machines always break. Strange things happen. No one wants it." Jack looked around. He saw no one else was interested. He thought for a moment. He had fixed many things in his life. He was good with machines. Maybe this was a chance to start again. He reached into his pocket and handed over the 2 credits. The alien did not smile. He just handed Jack an old key and walked away without another word. Jack opened the door and stepped inside. The inside of the garage was even worse than it looked from the outside. Dust covered everything. There were tools and wires on the floor. The lights were dim and flickered every few seconds. In one corner there was a workbench with a pile of broken parts. Jack sighed, thinking about how much work it would take to clean this place. He spent a while walking around and making a list in his head. The garage had 2 big repair bays, a small office with a cracked chair, and a tiny back room with a cot. He found an old box of tools that looked almost new. He also found a shelf with a few repair manuals in different languages. Most of the machines were old, but he thought he could fix some of them. Jack felt a little bit of hope. Maybe this was not a bad deal after all. But then, as he walked to the workbench, he saw something strange. There was a small glowing paper lying on top of the pile. It was not dusty like everything else. Jack picked it up. The writing was clear, but he did not understand the language. He pressed a small button on the edge, and the paper changed its words to English. The paper said, "Repair order, complete before the next millennium." There was no name, no ship, only a strange symbol at the bottom. Jack stared at it. The next millennium? That was 1,000 years from now. Was this a joke, or did someone really expect him to fix something for a customer who would come in 1,000 years? He turned the paper over, but there was nothing else written. Jack sat down on the old chair and tried to think. Maybe this was just trash, something left by the last owner. Maybe it meant nothing at all. But the glowing paper felt strange and heavy in his hand. He decided to keep it, just in case. He put it in his pocket and looked around the garage again. He started to clean up. He swept the floor, stacked the broken parts in one place, and tried to fix the lights. He worked for a few hours, losing track of time. As he worked, he thought about his past. In the Marines, things had always made sense. Orders were clear. Problems had answers, but this garage was full of secrets. He could feel it in the air. After a while, a few local people came by. Some were aliens and a few were humans like him. They looked at the new owner with curious eyes. Jack tried to smile and wave, but most people just kept walking. One young human woman stopped at the door. She had short brown hair and wore a blue jacket. "You the new owner?" she asked. Jack nodded. "Yeah, just bought it today." She smiled a little. "Good luck. This place is famous for bad luck." Jack laughed. So I've heard. I'm Jack, by the way. I'm Sam, she said. I fix machines down the street. If you need help, let me know. Jack thanked her, feeling a little less alone. Sam walked away, and Jack kept working. As the sun went down, he made himself a small meal and sat on the cot in the back room. The glowing repair order was still in his pocket, and he could not stop thinking about it. That night, Jack did not sleep well. He kept thinking about the paper and the words "next millennium." He wondered what kind of customer would need a repair that far in the future. He wondered what other secrets this old garage was hiding. And for the first time in a long time, Jack felt curious about what tomorrow might bring. Jack woke up early the next morning. The small cot was hard and the air in the back room was cold. He rubbed his eyes and thought about the glowing repair order in his pocket. He took it out again and looked at the strange words, repair order, complete before the next millennium. He had never seen anything like it before. The paper still glowed, even though there were no lights on. He put the paper away and decided to get to work. The first thing he did was check all the tools in the garage. Some were old, but others were in good shape. He found a few machines that looked almost new. Jack cleaned them and lined them up on the workbench. He liked working with his hands, and it made him feel calm. As he cleaned, he heard footsteps outside. The door opened and Sam came in. She brought a mug of hot coffee and set it down on the bench. "Thought you could use this," she said with a smile. Jack thanked her. "You're right. I needed that." He took a sip and felt a little more. Awake. Sam looked around the garage. "It's a mess, but I think you can fix it." "You're not afraid of a challenge, are you?" Jack shook his head. "Not really. I've fixed things in worse places than this." He looked at the machines. "But some of the stuff is really old. I'm not sure how to make it all work." Sam grinned. "You'll figure it out. I know a lot about alien tech. If you get stuck, I can help." Jack was glad to have a friend. He asked her about the glowing repair order. Sam looked at it and frowned. "I've never seen a repair order like this. The date is so strange. Most people don't even live that long." Jack nodded. "Yeah, I don't understand it. The alien who sold me the place said strange things happen here." Sam thought for a moment. "I know someone who might be able to help. There's a young alien mechanic named Kira who works near the docks. She's good with old tech. Maybe you should ask her." Jack agreed. He finished his coffee, then closed up the garage and went to look for Kira. The docks were busy with ships coming and going. Jack found Kira working on a small delivery ship. She was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and dark eyes. Her hands moved fast as she fixed a broken engine. Jack waited until she finished, then introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Jack. I just bought the old garage down the street. Sam said you might be able to help me with something strange." Kira looked at him and smiled. "I heard about you. Everyone talks about that place." Jack handed her the glowing repair order. Kira studied it for a long time. "This is old," she said softly. "Very old. The symbol at the bottom is from a race that doesn't visit this sector anymore. But the paper, it's not just a repair order. It's a kind of promise. It means someone will come, maybe in 1,000 years, and they'll need your help." Jack felt a chill. "How do you know?" Kira handed the paper back. "My family has seen things like this before. My grandfather used to say time is different for some people. Sometimes places like your garage become special. They wait for the right person to come along." Jack was quiet as he walked back to his garage. He looked at the dusty walls and broken machines. He wondered if he really was the right person. He started to feel nervous. But he was also curious. He wanted to know more. He spent the rest of the day cleaning and fixing what he could. Sam stopped by again, bringing some old parts she thought might help. Together, they managed to get one of the repair bays working. The lights in that part of the garage grew brighter. Jack even managed to get a small welding machine running. As they worked, a few local aliens stopped by. Some asked for small repairs or directions. Others just wanted to see the new owner. One old alien with 3 eyes and long gray arms told Jack a story about the garage. "Long ago, this place was always busy," he said. "Ships from all over would come here. People said the garage could fix anything no matter how strange or broken. But then the luck changed. Strange things started happening. Some machines fixed themselves, some never worked again. Jack listened to the story and thought about what Kira said. Maybe the garage really was special. Maybe he was supposed to be here. That night, after Sam left, Jack sat in the office and looked through the old repair manuals. Most were written in languages he could not read, but a few had pictures and he tried to learn what he could. He also checked the records on the office computer. Most of the files were old and corrupted, but he found a few names of customers from many years ago, some human, some alien, and some that looked like they were not from any time he knew. The next morning, Jack woke to the sound of knocking at the door. He opened it to find Kira standing outside, holding a small toolkit. "I want to help," she said. "My grandfather always said when a place calls to you, you should listen." Jack smiled and let her in. They spent the morning working together. Kira showed him how to repair one of the older machines. She explained that some of the parts were not made for normal ships, but for ships that could travel in ways most people could not understand. Jack asked about the glowing repair order again. Kira said, "It is not about one customer. It is about all the people who will come, no matter how long it takes. The garage is waiting, just like you." For the next few days, Jack, Sam, and Kira worked side by side. The garage started to look better. The lights worked in more places. The old machines came to life one by one. Some of the locals started bringing more work, small jobs that helped Jack earn a few credits. He saved every coin, just in case, but in the back of his mind, Jack kept thinking about the repair order and the words "next millennium." He wondered who would come and what they would need. He also wondered why he, out of all people, was chosen to wait. Every night, as Jack lay on the cot, he looked at the glowing paper. He still did not know all the answers, but he felt a little less lost and a little more ready for whatever was waiting for him, even if it would take 1,000 years. Jack was fixing an old engine in the garage when the room filled with a bright, strange light. He dropped his wrench and stood up, looking out the big front window. Outside, a ship was landing. It was a kind of ship Jack had never seen before. The shape was smooth and curved, and the color changed as the light touched it. It made no sound except for a soft hum. The ship did not look old, but it also did not look new. It looked like it belonged to another time. Sam came running from the back room. She looked out the window and gasped. "I've never seen a ship like that," she said quietly. Kira was already near the door. She stared at the ship and nodded. Slowly, "This is not a normal visitor," she said. "Maybe this is what the order was about." Jack watched as the ship's door opened. A tall woman stepped out. She had brown hair tied back and wore a long silver coat. Her eyes were sharp and clear, but there was something about her that made Jack think she was not just any traveler. She looked at the garage as if she already knew it well. Jack wiped his hands and walked outside. The woman smiled at him. "Are you the owner of this place?" she asked. Jack nodded. "Yeah, I'm Jack. Can I help you?" She nodded and held out a small device. "My name is Megan. My ship needs repairs. The engines are not working right." She pressed a button, and the device turned into a small, glowing paper almost the same as the repair order Jack had found on his first day. It even had the same symbol and the words, "Repair order, complete before the next millennium." Jack was surprised. He looked at Megan, then at the paper. "I've seen something like this before," he said. Megan smiled. "I thought you might have. This garage is famous in some places and times. I traveled far to find it." Sam and Kira joined them. Megan introduced herself and explained the problem with her ship. The engine was old, but the technology was strange, and the parts were nothing Jack had ever seen before. Still, he felt calm. He knew how to take things apart and put them back together, and he had help. They moved the ship inside the garage. The machines around them started to hum. Lights flickered and became brighter. Some of the tools moved by themselves, sliding closer to Jack and his friends as if they knew what was needed. Kira watched with wide eyes. "This place is waking up," she said. "It's almost like the garage knows what's going on." Jack tried not to show his surprise. He focused on the engine. Megan stayed close and watched him work. Sometimes she gave advice, but often she was quiet. Jack noticed that whenever he got stuck, a tool he needed would roll over as if guided by an invisible hand. Sam checked the ship's computer, trying to read the error codes. "This technology is old but powerful," she said. "Some parts look like nothing I've seen. They don't match anything from our catalogs." Kira studied the glowing repair. "Order," she pointed to the symbol at the bottom. "This is not just about fixing a ship. This is about keeping the garage ready. It's like a promise to the universe." Jack worked carefully. He cleaned the engine, replaced broken parts, and checked the power lines. He listened to the hum of the machines and trusted his hands. When he finished, he looked at Megan. "Try it now." Megan pressed a button on her ship's control panel. The engine started with a deep, clear sound. The lights on the ship turned blue, then green. Megan smiled. "It works." "Thank you, Jack." Jack felt proud. He had fixed something that came from a different time. Megan looked at him for a long moment. "You should know, you're not just a mechanic. This place is special. It chooses who can stay and who can help. Not everyone gets a repair order for the next millennium." Jack tried to ask her what she meant, but Megan only smiled. "You'll see, there will be more ships, more people. You will help them too." After Megan's ship was ready, she walked with Jack, Sam, and Kira to the door. She looked at each of them and said, "Thank you for your help. This garage is not only a place for ships. It's a place for travelers from all of time. You are all part of its story now." With that, Megan climbed into her ship and closed the door. The ship lifted off quietly and vanished into the sky, leaving only a faint trail of light. Jack, Sam, and Kira stood in silence for a while. Jack held the glowing repair order. It was the same as before, but now he understood it was not for one person or one job. It was a promise to keep the garage ready, no matter how strange the visitor or how long the wait. They went back inside. The garage seemed brighter and more alive. The machines worked better. The tools were easy to find. Even the air felt cleaner. Jack smiled at his friends. "We did something important today." Sam nodded. "I think you're right. This garage is not just a building. It's a part of something bigger." Kira agreed. "My grandfather was right. Some places are special, some places wait for the right people." Jack put the repair order in a safe place. He knew there would be more visitors, more strange ships, and more mysteries. He also knew he was not alone. He had his friends, and he had a purpose. For the first time in a long time, Jack looked forward to the future, even if that future was 1,000 years away. Jack could not stop thinking about Megan's words after she left. That evening, as he closed up the garage, he walked around and touched the old walls. Everything looked and felt different. The garage was still messy and old in many ways, but Jack felt something new in the air, almost like energy or hope. He wondered what would happen next. After dinner, Jack sat in the small office and looked at the glowing repair order again. It still said, "Complete before the next millennium." He turned it over in his hands, looking for more clues, but it was just smooth and bright, almost warm. Jack stood up and started to walk around, thinking about the old stories people had told him. The stories all agreed on one thing: the garage was special. The next day, Sam and Kira came early. Sam brought some spare parts and a bag of fresh food. Kira had a small toolkit and a big smile. The three friends started working together to clean the last part of the garage, the corner they had not touched yet. There was a pile of metal sheets and boxes there. When they moved everything out of the way, Jack noticed a trapdoor on the floor. It was covered in dust and oil, but it had a simple lock. "Look at that," Sam said. "Did you know there was a basement here?" Jack shook his head. "No one told me. I never noticed it before." He knelt down and tried the lock. It was old and rusty, but it opened easily with the key the alien had given him when he bought the garage. Slowly, Jack opened the trapdoor. Cold air came up from below. There was a small ladder that went down into the darkness. Jack took a light from his pocket and started to climb down, with Sam and Kira following behind. At the bottom, the basement. was bigger than Jack expected. The floor was made of stone, and there were strange symbols carved into the walls. Old boxes and machines lined the sides, covered in thick dust. But in the middle of the room stood a huge machine. It was round, with pipes and wires stretching out like the arms of a spider. Lights blinked on its side, and it gave off a soft, deep hum. Sam stared at it. "What is this?" she whispered. Kira walked closer and put her hand on the machine. She closed her eyes. "This is the heart of the garage. It's very old, maybe older than anyone here. I think this is why the garage is so special." Jack walked around the machine, looking for anything familiar. He saw a small control panel with buttons and switches. The words were in a language he did not know, but there were also simple pictures. Jack pressed one button, and suddenly he saw bright flashes in his mind, quick images of spaceships, aliens, and people from different times. He saw ships arriving in the dark, needing help, and people fixing machines in the same garage. He even saw himself, older and still working here. He stepped back, feeling dizzy. Sam caught his arm. "Are you okay?" she asked. Jack nodded. "I think this machine lets us see the past and the future. Maybe the garage is not just a place, a point in time. That's why the order says, next millennium, this garage will still be here, even when we're gone." Kira was quiet for a moment. "My grandfather always said that some places are alive in a way. Maybe this machine keeps the garage alive. Maybe it needs us, just as we need it." Sam walked around and found a hatch on the side of the machine. It was loose, and when she opened it, they saw that many wires inside were broken or burned. "No wonder the garage was always breaking down," she said. "This machine needs fixing." Jack felt a wave of excitement. He knew this was the real reason he was here. Fixing this machine was more important than any other job he had done. If he fixed it, the garage would be ready for all the travelers who would come in the future, even the ones who had not been born yet. Together, Jack, Sam, and Kira began to work. They cleaned the machine, replaced broken wires, and checked the power cells. Some of the parts were hard to reach, and some were like nothing they had seen before. Kira's small hands were helpful for the tight spaces, and Sam's knowledge of alien tech helped solve the hardest problems. Jack used his patience and strength to do the hardest parts. It took them most of the day. While they worked, Jack felt a strange comfort, as if the machine itself was helping them. Sometimes, when they needed a tool, it was right there. When Jack made a mistake, a small light on the machine would flash, almost like a warning. They laughed together and shared stories as they worked, not feeling tired or bored. At last, Kira made the final connection. Jack pressed the power button, and the whole machine began to glow. Soft, blue lights lit up the room. The humming sound grew louder, but still felt peaceful. Suddenly, the walls of the basement showed. Moving picture scenes from long ago and far into the future. They saw ships landing, people working, and the garage standing strong in every time. Megan's words came back to Jack. He understood now. The garage was more than just a business or a building. It was a place for everyone, no matter where or when they came from. The repair order was a promise to keep it alive, to help all travelers who needed it, now and for the next 1,000 years. Sam smiled. "I think you fixed more than a machine, Jack. You gave this place a future." Kira nodded. "And you're not alone. We're all a part of it." Jack smiled back at his friends. For the first time, he felt truly at home. He was ready for anything. He climbed up the ladder with Sam and Kira following and closed the trapdoor behind them. The garage above was brighter now, and Jack knew it was because they had brought life back to the heart of the garage. He looked at his friends and felt grateful. Together, they had unlocked the true secret of the garage, and they were ready for whatever came next. Jack woke up feeling stronger than ever. The sun was shining through the garage windows, and the air felt new. The garage itself seemed to welcome him. The lights glowed steadily. The machines stood ready, clean, and bright. For the first time, Jack did not see a broken place. He saw a place full of promise. He walked around, touching the smooth metal of the workbenches and checking the machines one by one. Everything was working better than before. The engine lifts were quiet and strong. The tools fit perfectly in his hands. Even the air felt fresh, without the old dusty smell. Jack smiled and took a deep breath. Sam arrived soon after, waving as she walked in. "Good morning, Jack." "The garage looks amazing," she said. Kira was close behind, carrying a box of spare parts. "I had a feeling something good would happen here," she said. "I'd dreamed about this place last night. It was full of people and ships, and everyone was happy." Jack laughed. "Maybe it's not just a dream. This garage is different now. It's alive and it's ready." He paused for a moment. "But now I have a choice to make. Megan told me that I can keep the garage running for all the travelers who need help, or I can walk away and let it fade." Sam put her hand on his shoulder. "Do you really want to leave? You're the one who brought this place back to life." Jack shook his head. "No, I don't want to leave. I feel like I belong here. I've spent my whole life fixing things for others. In the Marines, I always helped my team. Here I can help anyone who needs it, no matter where or when they're from." He looked at his friends. "But I can't do it alone. I'll need help." Kira smiled. "You already have help. We're here with you. This is our place now, too." The three friends stood together, looking around at the garage. It was quiet for a moment, but it was a good kind of quiet. Jack felt something warm in his chest. He knew he was making the right choice. Later that morning, a ship landed outside. It was a small, fast courier ship, painted bright red and white. The pilot, a young man with curly hair, stepped out and waved. "Can you fix my ship?" he called out. Jack and Sam walked over to greet him. The pilot's name was Ben. He said his engine was making strange noises, and he needed to get back on the trade route quickly. Jack listened to Ben's worries and promised to look at the ship right away. He and Sam worked together, using the new energy of the garage. The tools felt lighter in their hands, and the parts fit perfectly. As they worked, Kira checked the machine in the basement. She made sure it was running smoothly. The soft blue lights glowed stronger every time she checked. When she finished, she joined Jack and Sam outside, bringing extra tools and snacks. The repairs went quickly. Ben watched in surprise as the team worked together so well. He asked Jack how he learned to fix ships so fast. Jack just smiled and said, "I had good teachers and good friends." When the ship was ready, Ben thanked them and paid in credits and a small bag of rare nuts from a distant planet. He promised to tell other travelers about the garage. As he flew away, the team felt proud. They had helped someone in need, and the garage was already becoming a legend again. Days passed quickly. More and more ships arrived, each with different problems. Some ships were from nearby planets, while others looked old and strange, with symbols that Jack did not recognize. One day, a family of aliens arrived in a large, round ship. Their translator was broken, so Kira helped them fix it. The family thanked her by sharing sweet cakes made of blue fruit. Another time, a young woman named Lisa came with a damaged navigation system. She said she had heard about the garage from Megan. Jack, Sam, and Kira worked together and soon fixed her ship. Lisa hugged them all and left with a big smile. Even late at night, the garage was busy. Sometimes ships arrived with problems that seemed impossible to solve. But with patience, teamwork, and the strange magic of the garage, Jack and his friends always found a way. The garage started to look cleaner and brighter every day. The waiting room filled with gifts from grateful visitors, a tiny flower that glowed in the dark, a stone that hummed softly, and a small painting of the garage with ships from different times. Jack felt proud, but he never forgot the true purpose of the garage. One night, after everyone else had gone home, he sat alone in the office and read the glowing repair order again. It still said, "Complete before the next millennium." Jack realized that his job was not to finish one big repair, but to keep the garage open for anyone who needed help, no matter where they came from or when they arrived. He thought about his old life as a Marine. There, he had orders and missions. Here, he had something bigger, a promise. The garage was a beacon of hope, a place where anyone could find help, kindness, and a safe place to rest. The next morning, Jack called Sam and Kira together. "I want you both to know," he said, "that this place is as much yours as it is mine. We're a team. This garage will need all of us to keep it going for as long as we can. Sam hugged him. We're with you, Jack, always. Kira smiled, her eyes bright. Let's make this the best garage in the galaxy. Jack felt happy and strong. He had made his choice. He would be the guardian of the garage, the one who kept the promise of the glowing repair order. With Sam and Kira by his side, he was ready for the future, no matter how strange or wonderful it might be. As the sun rose over the garage, Jack stood in the doorway and watched a new ship coming in for repairs. He smiled, knowing this was only the beginning. The garage was alive, and its story was just getting started. Jack stood at the entrance of the garage, watching as another ship landed outside. Every day now, new visitors arrived. Some looked tired, others worried, but all of them left the garage with hope. Jack felt proud every time he helped someone. He saw the garage grow busier and brighter. It was no longer a quiet and lonely place. It had become a safe home for travelers from everywhere and every time. Jack and his friends worked well together. Sam greeted visitors and listened to their stories. She always made people feel welcome, offering them water or tea while they waited. Kira loved to explore new machines and learn about alien technology. Sometimes she taught Jack and Sam about the tools and tricks she learned from her family. Jack himself liked to fix engines and listen to the gentle hum of the garage. Each person brought something special, and together they formed a good team, the walls of the garage filled with signs of kindness. Visitors left behind small gift coins, tiny sculptures, plants that grew colorful flowers, and drawings from alien children. One little girl from a distant world drew a picture of Jack, Sam, and Kira standing in front of the glowing garage. Jack hung it on the wall by the door. One evening, when the sky was turning orange, a very old man came to the garage. He leaned on a wooden stick and wore a thick brown coat. His ship was small and made strange clicking sounds. Jack welcomed him and asked about the ship's problem. The old man smiled. The ship is old, like me, it needs a little care. Jack and Kira worked on the ship while Sam talked with the old man. He told stories of long journeys, lost friends, and strange places in the galaxy. When Jack finished the repairs, the man thanked them and gave Jack a shiny stone. This is for luck, he said. Keep helping travelers, no matter where or when they come from. After the old man left, Jack sat in the office and turned the shiny stone in his hand. He remembered the glowing repair order and the words, "Complete before the next millennium." He understood now that the promise was not just about machines, but about people, kindness, and hope. As the months passed, the garage became famous across many worlds. Some visitors came because they had heard of Jack's skill. Others came because they were lost or scared, hoping to find a safe place. Some ships arrived that seemed impossible. There was a ship with an engine shaped like a spinning ring, and another with controls that looked like musical notes. Jack and his friends learned to fix them all. Each repair taught them something new. One day Megan returned. Her ship looked different, and her coat was now blue. She smiled when she saw Jack, Sam, and Kira. "You have done well," she said. "This garage is shining again. You have made it a place for everyone." Jack felt happy to see Megan again. He showed her the basement and the great machine they had fixed. Megan looked at the glowing lights and nodded. "This machine is special. It connects past, present, and future. As long as it runs, the garage will always welcome those who need help." Sam asked Megan, "Why was Jack chosen? Why this place?" Megan smiled gently. "Jack has a strong heart. He helps others, not because of orders, but because he cares. The garage chose him, and it chose all of you. Together you made a promise to the future." Kira asked, "Will there always be people to help?" Megan answered, "There will always be travelers, lost and alone, looking for hope. As long as someone is here to welcome them, the promise is kept." After Megan left, Jack stood in the basement and looked at the machine. He touched the glowing repair order, feeling the promise deep inside. He thought about his days as a Marine, following orders and fighting battles. Now he was fighting for something different. He was fighting to keep hope alive for everyone who passed through the garage. Years went by. Jack saw Sam and Kira become even better at their work. They taught new friends and welcomed new helpers. The garage changed, but the heart of it stayed the same. Sometimes Jack sat in the office late at night, looking at the gifts from visitors. He remembered every story and every thank you. Jack grew older, but he never lost his sense of purpose. One day he saw a young woman working hard in the repair bay. She reminded him of himself when he first arrived. She was strong, kind, and always ready to help. Jack smiled and thought, maybe one day she will take care of the garage. Maybe she will keep the promise for the next 1,000 years. When Jack finally sat down to rest, he knew he had done his part. The garage would go on, shining bright for travelers from all times and places. The glowing repair order still sat on the desk, but Jack understood it now. It was not about one job, but about helping as many as he could. For as long as he could, the story of Jack and the garage became a legend. People told stories of the ex-Marine who bought a broken garage for 2 credits and turned it into the safest place in the galaxy. They told stories of Sam, Kira, and all the friends who worked there. Travelers far and wide searched for the glowing sign, hoping to find help, a smile, and maybe a new beginning. And so, the promise of the next millennium was kept, not just by Jack, but by everyone who believed in hope, kindness, and the power of a simple act of help. The garage waited, ready for the next visitor, the next story, and the next chance to make a difference.